A boy named Kyun witnesses a strange shooting star streak across the sky in broad daylight, but he dismisses it as nothing unusual. That night, a bully harasses the class president, forcing him to do his homework. Kyun steps in, determined to defend him. At the same time, in another place, a mysterious device activates, alerting a girl to the presence of a ghostly spirit. She rushes to the school and finds Kyun fighting the bully. Mistaking his actions for supernatural strength, she believes he is possessed by the spirit. The girl, Yu, reports this to her master, a ghost hunter, but her master instructs her to gather more information first. Yu returns to the school and secretly observes Kyun. She even provokes him into revealing his supposed superhuman strength, but in the process, the innocent Kyun is badly injured. Later that same night, the bully targets the class president again. This time, however, the class president behaves differently, revealing that he is the one possessed by the spirit. As Yu rushes to stop them, she arrives at the gym and catches the class president using the evil power. She attacks him and a fierce fight breaks out. Soon, Kyun arrives to help Yu. She summons her divine weapon and strikes the class president, successfully purging the evil spirit from him. After Kyun witnesses everything, Yu explains that she comes from another world and is tasked with capturing 7 ghostly spirits that escaped from a sealed prison. Fascinated, Kyun decides to help her hunt down the remaining spirit. Later, while searching for the portal that would return her to her realm, Yu discovers that it has vanished. At that moment, the popular student Choi appears. Yu seems to have a crush on him. Choi treats her kindly and advises her to stop searching, saying that what she seeks will appear when the time is right. Soon after, Yu is approached by a mysterious man who claims to know that she is not from this world and that she is a ghost hunter. Meanwhile, an unpopular student named Ji sees the girl he loves crying after being rejected by Choi. Heartbroken by the realization that she loves Choi instead of him, Ji sinks into despair. Suddenly, a strange figure approaches him in silence and hands him a mysterious object. The next morning, Ji's presence completely changes. He becomes popular overnight, attracting countless girls. Kyun and Yu notice his strange transformation. Han reveals that Ji has been possessed by a spirit that grants him irresistible charm. Ji approaches his crush and uses his power to manipulate her into falling for him, unaware that Kyun, Han, and Yu are secretly watching. The three devise a plan to capture him. Yu lures Ji with a fake confession, asking him to meet her in secret. When Ji arrives at the location, he laughs confidently, believing he has finally achieved popularity. Suddenly, Yu attacks and defeats him. However, she is unexpectedly assaulted by Ji's possessed crush. Kyun rushes to Yu's side, trying to protect her, but several of Ji's followers soon arrive and attack them both, completely unaware that they are being controlled. Just as the situation turns desperate, Han arrives and shouts for them to cover Ji's eyes, revealing that Ji controls others through eye contact. Kyun tries to reach him, but the girls restrain him. Suddenly, a blinding flash of thunder crashes down, momentarily blinding Ji and breaking his hypnotic control. Yu immediately takes advantage of the opening. She summons her divine weapon and purges the evil presence from Ji. Afterward, Ji and the other girls are sent home safely. Kyun later learns that Han knew the spirit's weakness because of a secret book containing detailed knowledge about Yu's world. However, none of them realized that the thunder was unnatural. It was caused by someone from Yu's realm using his powers, someone who would later be revealed as Choi. The next morning, a quiet and timid girl bumps into Yu. Her name is Juhee. Shy and lacking confidence, she is constantly bullied by her classmate. Han explains that the teachers cannot intervene because Juhee is too frightened to report the bullies to the council. One of Juhee's classmates feels sorry for her and warns her that unless she stops showing fear, the bullying will never end. Still, Juhee is far too scared to stand up for herself. Later, Yu witnesses Juhee running errands for the bullies and becomes enraged. Unable to hold back, she secretly uses her magic to punish them. Juhee's classmate sees everything, yet reacts with surprising calm. Yu is left confused, certain the girl saw her use magic but showed no fear or curiosity. That same evening, the bullies lock Juhee inside an empty classroom, intending to leave her there overnight. Alone and terrified, Juhee breaks down in tears. Soon after, a strange man appears before her. As the bullies leave the school, one of them suddenly remembers something and returns to the classroom. She finds Juhi gone. While searching the room, she encounters a horrifying ghost and collapses in fear. The next morning, Kyun tells you about the incident. You rushes to the classroom, where Choi appears and reveals that all three bullies saw different ghosts, each shaped by their deepest fears. That night, you, Kyun, and Han remain inside the school, waiting to catch Juhi in the act. Suddenly, the strange device activates. They rush to the classroom and find Juhi standing there, waiting for them. You attacks without hesitation, but panic sets in when Han and Kyun freeze in terror, each confronted by the manifestation of their worst fears. Juhi then traps you in her own nightmare, forcing her to witness the complete destruction of her realm and the death of her people. Suddenly, Juhi's classmate Kim appears and slaps you, snapping her back to reality. You regains control, summons her divine weapon, and strikes Juhi, capturing the spirit within her. Now aware of Yu's secret life, Kim insists on helping her capture the remaining four spirits. Although they agree to work as a team, Kyun and Kim constantly clash and cannot stand each other. Meanwhile, another girl becomes heartbroken after overhearing her best friends talking behind her back. At that moment, the strange figure approaches her. The next morning, Yu notices something deeply unsettling. Groups of best friends in the classroom are suddenly arguing, turning against one another without clear reason. Friendships that once seemed unbreakable begin to crumble overnight. Yu and Han immediately sense the cause and suspect that the fourth spirit has appeared, feeding on resentment and manipulating emotions. The team decides to wait patiently, watching for the possessed girl to expose herself. To draw her out, they deliberately create conflict among themselves, staging heated arguments and emotional confrontations. As expected, the spirit reacts. The possessed girl reveals herself, walking straight into Yu's carefully set trap. Yu attacks without hesitation, but the girl has grown frighteningly powerful after absorbing so much negative energy. She manages to escape, and the team chases her through the school. Yu reaches her first downstairs and confronts her alone, but she is quickly overwhelmed by the girl's strength. Just as the girl prepares to deliver a fatal blow, a sudden flash of lightning strikes nearby, weakening her and forcing her to retreat. Seizing the moment, Yu summons her divine weapon and delivers a decisive attack, sealing the spirit within her. It is then revealed that the lightning came from Choi, who is also a ghost hunter. The following morning, two best friends who are violinists are forced to compete for a single opportunity to represent the school. One of them, consumed by fear of losing, performs poorly and fails the audition. Crushed by defeat, he convinces himself that his failure was not his fault, but the result of using a cheap instrument. Desperate to change his fate, he sneaks into the school lockers and steals his friend's violin. At that moment, the strange figure appears once again and grants him evil power. From the next day onward, the boy gains an unnatural ability. Anything he desires is instantly given to him, and no one is able to refuse. Yu and the others quickly recognize the signs of possession and begin searching for a way to trap him. Knowing how deeply the boy loves music, Yu discovers that he desperately wants an expensive instrument, something completely beyond his reach. Just as hope begins to fade, Choi intervenes. He admits that he cannot seal the spirit himself, but insists he can still help. Without hesitation, he gives Yu his credit cards, urging her to buy the instrument and use it as bait. The team puts the plan into action and lures the boy with the instrument. Completely mesmerized, he reaches for it. Yu attempts to summon her divine weapon, only to realize in horror that her magical item has already been stolen by him. When the others rush in to help, the boy effortlessly steals their abilities as well, leaving them powerless. Just when defeat seems inevitable, Choi appears once more and attacks the possessed boy. A brutal fight erupts, shaking the area. After a prolonged struggle, Choi draws his magic sword and strikes, injuring the boy and weakening him enough to force him to release Yu's stolen magical item. Yu immediately summons her divine weapon and hurls it forward, successfully sealing the evil spirit within him. They carry the unconscious boy to a safe room to rest. As an unexpected act of kindness, Choi leaves the expensive musical instrument with him, giving the boy a chance to improve and pursue his passion honestly. The following morning, a K-pop idol trainee transfers to their school and joins Yu's class. Kim explains that something serious occurred at the girl's previous school, forcing her to move. Meanwhile, Han grows increasingly anxious as the school's singing competition approaches. With a professional idol now among them, his jealousy flares, and he becomes convinced she will easily take first place. Yu reassures Han, encouraging him not to give up. She insists that with enough practice, they still have a chance. Together, they head to a karaoke studio to train. During practice, they are surprised to discover that Kyun and Kim's voices blend perfectly, turning them into an unexpectedly strong pair. On the day of the auditions, Kyun and Kim captivate everyone with their performance. When the idol trainee is finally called, expectations soar. However, as she begins to sing, her nerves take over. She makes several mistakes, and her performance falls apart. The audience is left stunned that an idol trainee could sing so poorly. Soon, whispers spread through the crowd. Students begin gossiping that she is unfit to be an idol and may even be expelled from her K-pop group because of her weak voice. Overwhelmed, the girl flees to the bathroom in tears. Choi follows, hoping to comfort her, but she shuts him out. When the bullies try to torment her further, Choi steps in and stops them, clearly moved by her distress. That night, Choi attempts to summon the portal to the magical realm but fails. At the same time, the idol trainee returns to the school, consumed by frustration over her inability to sing perfectly and achieve the stardom she has always dreamed of. At her lowest moment, the strange man appears and praises her voice. The next morning, the music teacher discovers the idol trainee already waiting inside the music room. There is something unsettling about her presence, something subtly different. When the girl asks the teacher to re-evaluate her voice, she begins to sing. The moment her voice fills the room, the teacher freezes in shock. Students gathering outside the door are equally stunned by the flawless, almost unnatural quality of her singing, as if her voice has been altered by something beyond human ability. The news spreads quickly. Yu and the others grow increasingly alarmed as more and more students begin surrounding the idol trainee, drawn to her like devoted followers. Han immediately senses danger and warns that they must stop her before she sings in front of a large crowd. He explains that her voice carries hypnotic power and insists that everyone cover their ears to avoid falling under her control. Later, Han returns to the classroom to retrieve something he forgot. The school is nearly empty and eerily quiet. Suddenly, he hears the idol trainee singing. He desperately covers his ears, but the sound is overwhelming. The melody pierces through, and despite his resistance, Han is hypnotized. That night, Yu, Kyun, and Kim return to the school to confront the sixth spirit. They are deeply worried when Han fails to answer their calls, but they know they cannot delay any longer. Moving forward without him, they set a trap to lure the idol trainee. Minutes later, she appears. When she begins singing again, her voice has no effect on them, as their ears are fully covered. Yu immediately summons her divine weapon and attacks, but the strike fails. An invisible barrier blocks her blow, protecting the girl completely. Confused and unsettled, Yu struggles to understand what went wrong. At that moment, Han appears. He may know how to break the barrier, but he is still under hypnotic control. Without warning, he removes Kyun's headphones, exposing him directly to the idol trainee's singing. Kyun is instantly hypnotized, leaving Yu with one fewer ally. Kim rushes to disable the loudspeakers broadcasting the song throughout the school, while Kyun turns on Yu and attacks her. He quickly overpowers her, but just as the situation becomes dire, Choi arrives. He effortlessly restrains Kyun, neutralizes Han, and casually shatters the idol trainee's barrier. Seizing the opportunity, Yu summons her divine weapon and strikes, freeing the girl from the spirit's possession and releasing everyone else from its hypnotic influence. The next morning, exams begin. Yu is overwhelmed with anxiety, knowing she has not studied enough. She soon realizes she is not alone. Another top-ranking student is also struggling, consumed by fear and frustration. Despite always placing second, the boy has never managed to claim the top position, no matter how hard he works. After the exhausting exams, Yu and the others decide to relax and clear their mind. They run into Choi and invite him to join them, but he politely declines, explaining that he has an important task to attend to. Yu and Han cannot stop admiring Choi, impressed by how he always arrives at critical moments to save them. However, Kyun feels deeply unsettled. He has begun to fall for Yu and fears that her growing admiration for Choi may slowly pull her away from him. Soon, Kim and Han begin to wonder what you will do once all the spirits are captured. When her mission ends, she may be forced to return to her own world. Kyun grows anxious and begs her to stay, insisting that more spirits could appear in the future and put everyone in danger. Yu is then reminded of the upcoming exams and a boy obsessed with becoming the school topper. She soon realizes that her own friend Kim currently holds that position, having achieved a perfect score. While Kim enjoys a relaxed meal with friends, the aspiring topper studies relentlessly through the night, sacrificing both his physical and mental health. Even after the exams end, he remains uncertain about surpassing Kim. Consumed by anxiety, he pushes himself even harder, unaware of the damage he is inflicting on himself. At that moment, the strange man appears behind him and offers his help. The next morning, Yu searches the school for any unusual signs but finds nothing, which only deepens her suspicion. One of Kyun's friends approaches him to invite him to practice and casually throws a ball in his direction. To everyone's surprise, the ball is swiftly caught by the aspiring topper. Yu approaches Kim and asks if she has noticed anything strange, but even Kim is confused by the absence of any new incidents. Yu then turns to Han, hoping he might have identified which spirit could appear next. Han admits that there are far too many spirits to predict, but suggests that high-level hunters might know more, hinting that you should speak to Choi. When Yu goes to Choi's classroom, she discovers that he has disappeared. Growing desperate, Yu's device finally reacts. That night, she returns to the school and encounters the aspiring topper boy. He appears completely normal and shows no obvious signs of possession. However, the device reacts again, confirming her suspicions. Yu gathers the team and shares what she has discovered. They decide to confront the boy that very night. As they approach him, he suddenly vanishes and reappears on the first floor. Before they can understand his abilities, he disappears again, reappearing elsewhere. Kyun becomes too frightened to even attempt a fight. The boy escapes, leaving them behind. Kim quickly devises a plan. She realizes that the boy can manipulate time and sets a trap using his notebook as bait. As the plan unfolds, Han rushes toward the boy, distracting him. Kyun then attacks, preventing him from activating his powers. The boy attempts to flee but is caught in a magical trap set by Yu. Yu strikes him and successfully captures the final spirit. As they step outside, they find Choi waiting for them. Relieved and proud, Yu approaches him and hands over all the captured spirit balls. Choi slowly grins, and suddenly vanishes with them. The group is left stunned, struggling to accept that someone they trusted so deeply had been deceiving them from the very beginning. Shock quickly turns into determination as Yu refuses to let the betrayal be the end. She searches frantically for Choi, driven by a mix of anger and desperation. Outside, a familiar flash of lightning cuts through the air, unmistakably his. Following the trail, she finds him standing alone in a quiet park. Without pausing to think, Yu attacks him head-on. Moments later, Kyun notices the same lightning and rushes to her aid, forcing Choi to retreat. Before he can escape completely, Yu manages to seize one of the spirit balls from him. Despite this small victory, Yu is overwhelmed. The weight of failure presses down on her as she realizes how little she knows about reclaiming the remaining spirits. Confused and emotionally drained, she begins to lose hope. Sensing her despair, her friends gather around her. They remind her that Choi cannot be defeated by one person alone and that their strength lies in standing together. Renewed by their support, the four of them commit themselves to intense training, pushing past their limits and carefully planning their next move. They decide on a risky strategy. They will ambush Choi using a fake spirit ball, while the real one will be consumed by one of them to gain the power necessary to confront him. That night, they face Choi once more. He greets them with a calm laugh and confidently demands the spirit ball. Yu refuses and charges at him. The group attacks in unison, but even together, they struggle against his overwhelming power. Choi eventually takes the spirit ball, only to realize it is a fake. At that instant, the real spirit ball is revealed to be with Kyun, who consumes it and gains immense physical strength, finally allowing him to stand toe-to-toe with Choi. Seizing the opening, Han swiftly grabs the remaining spirit balls from Choi and hands them to Yu. Understanding that there is no point in explaining his true intentions, Choi chooses to withdraw, vanishing and leaving them behind with more questions than answers. Yu refuses to let him disappear so easily and follows him to a nearby park. There, Choi comes to a halt and reveals the portal to their world. In a low voice, he shares a secret with Yu, one that shakes her deeply and lingers in her mind long after he is gone. Yu returns to her friends and releases Kyun from the spirit's power. When they head back to the park, Yu is confronted by her magic master. Furious, the master reprimands her for recklessly risking her life by capturing the spirits on her own. She then delivers a devastating revelation: every spirit from their world has escaped. Demanding immediate compliance, she orders Yu to hand over the captured spirit balls. Remembering Choi's warning, Yu lies, claiming she no longer has them. At that very moment, the sky above them erupts in motion as a cascade of shooting stars streaks across the night, illuminating the darkness and signaling that far greater events are yet to unfold.